Hey guys, I'm going to do a little more in-depth on this Atlas 1.5 horse 1949 outboard. Got it running on the last video. And now we're going to look into seeing if it has a water flow issue. A couple people made comments on it as far as it doesn't have a pump of sorts on the inside. Some of it, think that the holes that are on the inside of the prop are what make the charge going through it. So we are going to dig in a little bit further and actually find out. So hold on a second, I'll get you in the stand and we'll start digging in. I don't have it clamped in or anything, so you'll be able to deal with it without doing that. But I already bent the cotter key back to get it out. Well, I would think if that was the case, if those holes were for pushing water up through it, it would lose it all around that gap. There's not much of a seal there. So I'm kind of suspecting it's got some sort of pump. Some guys are saying it has like a wobble pump. Not quite sure what that is yet, but yeah, it's not even tight. We're gonna go find out. Think that guy needs to come out too? Yeah, it's not even tight. Bet you that's it right there. And that guy looks like it's on a cam. I don't know if it's showing up on the other side. It's offset. It helped if I grabbed the rag. Right. So I bet you this guy, it feels pretty greased up though. And I guess it would shoot water up through that hole. There's a possibility that that can be clogged. Let's get an air gun set up, get a rag, we'll blow some air through that, see if we can get it to come up through the passage. And you're back. I can see some kind of crud right in the bottom of it. Dig that a little bit, see if any kind of schmagma comes up. Nah, just look at a little piece of the gasket. Shall we? Sounds like it's got a pretty open passage. Trying to figure out a better way to shoot air into that. Can we something like that? That sounds like it's passing through somewhere and shooting out there. We're going to clean these guys up a little bit and we'll look into it. It's pretty packed with like oily grease. It's probably a good thing. Once we see some kind of I'm going to clean this up and I'll bring you back. So I washed it up real quick and nothing behind here has anything to do with the pump. It's all on the external side. I washed it quick in the parts washer. I washed out the old grease. I repacked it with grease. I guess it doesn't have gear oil. Grease seems to be the way it operates. So we are just going to go and pop that guy back in, hopefully. So this little cubby hole. There you go. And a little wobble cam. Doesn't look like something it would wear because it's metal. That goes on there, and that has a pin that drops in that kind of holds it in place. I don't have it in there right now, but I'll put the pin in. And then it just spins around. that guy. The problem I see is this guy, if I look under the magnifying glass, it has a bunch of little cracks all the way around it, kind of going through it. Basically, it's old age. It's dealing with old age. So I would say more than likely we just need a new one of these. And I think that would get the water flow doing more correct of a doing what it's doing. I also think that this probably helps in aiding it. It probably directs water towards the pump and kind of like maybe possibly helps prime it. So I think I will go and see. Yeah, so that lines up with that groove. Yeah, that's what I think. So I think the prop helps force the water into the pump, and then it gets drawn up the rest of the way. Pretty simple. If it works, it should work pretty good. Just for the slight possibility that this is available locally. I know. There is a boat shop in town though. I'm just going to stop in real quick and see if one of these are there. And then if not, maybe look online. And if it's a $10 item, I have no problem grabbing one of those and throwing it in there. And this thing, you know, more of a novelty than anything. I don't really see anybody using this thing as a their go-to outboard. But as far as an antique-y kind of thing, maybe someone will have an interest in it. And I'll have more of an interest in it if it's ready to rock and roll, right? So, let me see what I can find. So I had to stare at this thing for a minute just to try to figure out what's going on and how it works. Kind of reassembled. I got more cleaning to do, but the prop kind of pushes water into this passage, into this valley. And I was trying to figure out, well, how does the water get from here up into there? It just didn't make any sense. I was like, well, you should have to go onto the inside of it. And I was thinking, like, you know, kind of how like a Wankel engine works, a rotary engine. It kind of squeezes it and pushes it out, or a hydraulic pump, you know, and it would squeeze it out. But what I actually think what it does is, I think this gap is just so far burned up that I think what it does is it pulls it away. Like when this turns, it pulls the pump away from the wall like that, and it traps a little bit of water around here, deposits it in here, and then pushes it up through the center. So I think that's how it works, and that all this huge gap that's in here should not be here. I have a feeling it's probably snugged right down on that, and that's the main failure. So this guy's been gone for a long time. You can tell it's all burned up and heated up and rotten. So I think that's how it works. You think so? That's what I'm going with. Which would kind of make sense, because you would, I don't know if you'd want to try to be forcing so much water down inside here. It would want to pressurize the shaft and want to try to push past the seal into that section of it. So, alright, so the answer is good luck. That is very rare and hard to find, and his recommendation was to go on the old interweb, see what you can go find. I just got done doing that, kind of chased a couple forums of other people looking for them. They have not, one led me to a site of a place that makes them. I did not see it for 1.5. I saw it for 3. Don't know if they're the same, and it was also a warning saying there's a bunch of different sizes and shapes to make sure you get the correct one. So I think this guy is going to unfortunately get put into the back burner because the parts are hard to come by, and I have a feeling if I do find it, I paid $25 for the motor. I don't know how much I really want to put into something like this. You know, if it's 40 or 50 bucks for that piece by the time you get it, is it, you know, where do you stop? So I think I'm going to call it for now. Unless this good old YouTube channel gets me a feedback of one that is located or knows of it, or somebody who wants the motor. I don't want to bother trying to ship it. I'm not going to get into that just because it's just not, again, it's just not worth the hassle. So the carburetor does fit a bunch of other small two-stroke stuff, and I had a hard time trying to find one of those, and Huck mailed me a carburetor from Canada, and then we needed a float, and he mailed me a float from Canada. And again, that was a very expensive proposition. I thank him very much for doing that. So the carb on this thing may be just as valuable to me as the boat, the motor itself. And then again, it's not like I have something to use this for. And with that, I think we're gonna go call it. And not necessarily dead, but right now the avenues, I've kind of hit a little bit of a brick wall. I don't want to, again, put a ton into this trying to save it. You guys really want to watch me put a key in here? Alright, so that's that. So guys, that's it. It's gone back into my other little garage. I'll hang them up on the wall at a later date. I got other ones to kind of go look at too. You see one here. There's a 5.5. I think that's a Sears. Ted Williams, I think is what's going to say on that one. Yeah, Ted Williams. And let's see, we got another funky one looking right here. Don't know anything about that one. Here's one with a blown bottom unit. The power head is still there. Here's what's left of the unit. And then there is another one that is right here. One of these is air cooled. I think this Game Fisher might be air cooled. It won't have a pump in it. I believe I have two that are the same. We're going to make one out of the two, and that'll be for a later date. But for now, we're going to leave these be and get into something else. And hold on one second, we're not quite done yet. So the old power of the internet, and you guys on YouTube mailed me little links to the last video of this. Came through, and I was trying to find stuff online. I did find like one or two on eBay. They were new old stock that were 50 years old, and they were, you know, $50, $45 for them. Someone mailed me a link to a person who remakes them, and without having middlemen involved, they'll end up being 15 bucks. And he said, I don't know what that part number is, but if you take me a pencil tracing or whatnot of what you have, I should be able to mail you back the correct one. So with that, we have a little piece of paper. I'm going to get an envelope, get that out in the mail. Hopefully we get the correct wiggler back, and we can put this back in. It'll pump water, and this one should be good to rock and roll again. So with that, stay tuned. It's not over till it's over. So about 5 days later, parts came in the mail, and it's our little wobblers for the outboard. They he said it was 15 bucks for one. He actually shipped me two of them, so imagine that we can get two new ones, not old stock, that are all dried out. Got the screws all out of it. Let's go see about putting the new one in and how that lines up to what he gave us. I'm shaking you, sorry. Damn it. That's what they had. That's what we got. It looks a little small, but I think we actually want a little smaller, don't we? We need space around the outside. Yeah, that's more like it. So it touches over there. Let's see if I can spin this. Can you guys see that? Let me bring it closer. Zoom on the camera is kind of having an issue. But see the gap that's around it? Let's see if I can turn it over. Going the wrong way. So it traps a little bit of water inside there, squeezes it all the way around, and deposits it there. So water comes in here, squeezes around, goes and shoots up into the motor. I think we screw that back together and give her a shot, huh? Looks good. And we got a spare. So the one on the left is the new one, the one on the right's the old one. You can see the difference in diameters of them. They swell up over time is what the issue is, and then you can see the difference in size. So if you go right to the wall, that's how much gap difference there is on it all the way around. So should take care of it for quite a while. So what's the chance This guy is still watertight. Watch bees start swarming out of it. Cold start. Think it'll go? Remember what's what. Somewhere's an on-off switch. On. And choke. I gotta choke it by hand. Should be it. Maintenance. I see water pouring in. That's a good sign. Was a couple of bees in the front there, and I had to scab on a piece of wood. This was a wrecked canoe that somebody cut the back off and added some wood to it so it would live a little longer. I got a piece of tape over the mic because it's windy, so if I sound a little muffled, that's why. But I figure we'll kind of fire it up here and let it just sit on the tether, and we'll see how the motor performs and if we get any water kind of shooting out the exhaust. I don't even know if it shows on this one, but we're gonna go find out. Further ado, let me get you set up and let's go try firing her up. Shall we? I'm gonna try it with no choke. Gas is on, vents open. Start. Try some choke. Get a little more gas too. That's the choke. Got a part out of it. Wants to. One more time. I'll try it. Maybe one more after that. It's coughing a little. Come on. I think my air fuel mix needs to be dialed in. How about I bring you back when I get her going so you guys just aren't staring at it forever. So let her warm up for a couple of minutes. I adjusted the air fuel mix a little bit. Let me get in her. Shall we try? Wind's pushing me back along. So that's it, guys. I think we're gonna kind of wind her down here. That was a blast. That thing runs great. Very surprised for how old it is, how well it moves it along, and runs cool. No heating issues. I think the needle and seat are probably need of a little bit of help. It seems like it wants to flood over the bowl a little bit when you shut it off. I just shut the fuel off. You can see it making a drip or two going down in there. And a canoe is not exactly the best setup for this. A rowboat would be much better. Something a little bit more stable. This is kind of rocky. But again, we're working with what we got. We got to go try it out, see how it was. It runs nice. And probably on the list should be a little bit longer rope. You get like 1.5 chugs out of it, you know, 1.5 cycles out of it with that little guy. So maybe about another foot longer than that should do the trick. But I am so happy that we got to go play with this thing and see what it does. I am, what can you say? More than pleased. So with that, guys, I think we're going to go sign off, and I want to thank all you guys for hanging out, taking a little journey with me, doing a little wrenching, a little putting on the water, and having some fun. So with that, we'll catch you on the next video. See you later. Bye-bye.